Hello, hello, and welcome to another episode of Love It or Shove It. And today it's me, Irina Portnova, with my co-host Bruno Gill, and we have the guest Victoria Eisenhower. Victoria, welcome, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Irina, and thank you, Bruno. I appreciate your time, and hello to the audience. I am excited to be here to share this very taboo topic today. I am the self-love scientist, and I help women and men overcome many midlife crises in their identities, enhance their relationships by recreating more confidence and establishing healthy boundaries and experiencing life through a pleasure lens.
That's beautiful. And let's just dive into the topic because I just love the topic of our conversation, which is empowerment through self-pleasure. And I'm sure for a lot of people, it's not even, like they don't understand, they don't comprehend. What do you mean empowerment through self-pleasure? And a lot of people probably even struggling. What does it mean to do self-pleasure, right? So let's just start from the beginning. Tell us a little bit more about what is self-pleasure is all about and what are the benefits of it.
I think there's a variety of definitions of what this can mean. I always refer to the word as self-love because I think people might see it and they're like, "Ooh, it's like that taboo keyword." And I'm not gonna Google search it. You're more than welcome to do that if you'd like. But it is a concept word that means, how can I create a higher state emotionally, physically, sensually in your body through physical touch, through some form of stimulation. And oh my gosh, I'm going to get very nerdy with you, but like, how is it beneficial? Well, it's not only does it take away a lot of limiting beliefs around anything. Bruno, you and I were talking about this before, but like any kind of fears or irrational thoughts, this actually creates a release. It kind of allows the mind to come up with a state of confidence. There's hormones happening down at the cellular level that allow you to feel nourished, you feel loved, you feel safe, you feel more confident. And there's also like there's like a cuddle hormone that gets released. You have more mental clarity. If you're feeling like you want a snack but you're not really hungry, it can curb your appetite. And it's, oh man, I can keep going, and it's just fun. And it's I think it also can create a healthier narrative for yourself, especially in terms of confidence. Like confidence is a huge, huge thing when you integrate a more so consistent practice.
Thank you so much for sharing that. When it comes to that, like self-pleasure, what I, associate it with is actually knowing yourself better, right? Because we keep
Yes.
discovering ourselves throughout the entire life, and it just helps us to tap into that energy and ability to know exactly who we are, what we like, and what makes our heart sing, right?
Oh, I love that. Yes. Yes to all those things. And it does make a huge difference positively. And, in some instances, it impacts your relationships, not just with yourself, but the ones you're having with other people, professionally,
Mhm.
personally, platonically, family, friends. It shifts your mindset because as you create more confidence, as you create this state of awareness, because you know what feels good, like the feel good hormone, you're like, suddenly I don't feel as guilty to make these decisions, or I don't feel as I guess I want to say like those fears, or that, do I really want to put myself out there on the dating app? It's like, no, actually, I'm fine. Like I can lead myself now. And that's a very empowering feeling.
Awesome, beautiful. Bruno, how about you? What do you what is your statement? What does that self pleasure look like to you, and why is it important?
Well, it looks like relaxing. It looks like just, like getting into my sexuality, not getting attached to any things I see, but just really like, just really just, you know, releasing, because, like sexual tension, right? Like, is real. And, it makes, with me, it makes me slow. It makes me slow. It really does. Like, it makes me slow. I'm like, I don't want to move. Like, what's wrong with my body? Like, and it's the energy's there, like, just stuck. And so, I mean, um, I feel like I developed a big feminine trait, which is I find pleasure in everything I touch and see. It's like I can touch something and I can see myself having sex with it, and I'm gonna love it. And it's like it was like a way to, because this is basically tantra. I don't know if you have ever done that. So the first time I ever performed the tantra, it was the first ever time I heard about that was about. So I was watching a Netflix documentary, and there was this instructor that was guiding our clients, right, on how to release all the negative energy that was in their body, right? And so they said, well, women, they should focus on their heart and they should see that energy going into their mind, and men should focus on their testicles and their energy goes up in their mind. So I do that, and I lay down and I just relax my body and I focus on that. And she said, well, your eyes are probably going to start twitching, or you're going to start shaking, or you're going to start having like the tremblings, or you're going to start feeling certain butterflies in your body, or certain, whatever. And I did. And I actually did that because I was in a phase of my life where like things were like a little bit like very unbalanced, pretty much like very, very much unbalanced. And I didn't like my room. I didn't like a lot of things that were happening in my life. I was still kind of stuck to a lot of things that happened before. And so that experience that was like 4 or 5 minutes to release all that energy from my body was something very, very much it was intense. it was so much intensity there, and it was very profound. And I don't know, like when I woke up, like when I opened my eyes, I felt like so much more like relieved, like soft, like much more like just like relaxed. And it's interesting. It's like, and the reason why that happened was because it's almost like I connected with my higher self a lot. And yeah, connecting with our higher self is super important because that brings your awareness to the now, like the right now, right? Not to a second ago, a minute ago, hour ago, a day ago, a week ago, or even like the future, right? The next minute, the next hour, the next day, the next week, the next month, next year, right? It's all in the now, and all in the now is everything you need. And the more in the now you are, the more relaxed you will be, because at the end of the day, that's all we have. And I feel like there's no bigger pleasure in life as well as understanding that, because you go to the past, you're nostalgic and you're grieving, and you go into the future and you're anxious and you're overthinking, right? So self pleasure is actually very good, especially for women, because me as a coach, I always tell women, like you should totally connect, with your inner goddess, and that way, like, sorry, you do that by, like connecting with your sexuality, right? and so you become more aware of how you feel and what you do and everything. So yeah, that's kind of.
That's awesome. Victoria, what do you want to tell us more, as this is like something that you really working with your clients and something that you are exploring. Tell us more a little bit about that self pleasure and how it's connected to the benefits, physical benefits, mental benefits, how it makes us more confident and more empowered.
Thank you, Arena, and thank you for sharing that, Bruno. That sounds like a very tantalizing experience. And I will, to answer that question, I'm going to bounce off of what you just said earlier. And the fact of the matter is, when we have a practice here, we are, for women especially, we become more in tune with ourselves. And when we're more in tune with ourselves, we start to recognize like, this feels great or this feels good. And a lot of women right now are kind of living through a filtered lens where it's almost like we're not granting ourselves that permission. So in my programs, I create a slow initiation. I go through this procedure that I created called the pleasure principles. And it starts with, learning to know, like, what is it what do you want? Like, what is it that your body needs? And how can you show it? And then it's learning to love your body. There's a lot of shame behind like the way we look. I wish I was skinnier. I wish I was larger. I wish I was darker. I wish my hair was longer. Why does my body not look like the movies? So it's learning to create more of appreciation for who you are, as Bruno would say. Like right now, like you are beautiful as you are in this moment. You'll be even more beautiful tomorrow. And with a practice, you'll start to notice like more of a glow, you'll smile more. You're going to feel so much lighter on your feet. And then from the appreciation of learning to love your body, you start to feed yourself nourishing words instead of I'm not good enough, I am enough. We start turning those narratives around that you're feeding your mind, because your mind is the gateway to pleasure. It really is. You can have the physical act of it. You can go through your own pleasure practice and still come across a mental barrier. And so we walk through those barriers by dissolving them, changing the script into something that is more suitable and fitting for you, that feels true for you. And then it's planning these practices on your terms, on your schedule consistently. Instead of feeling obligated to go out and date someone and like go chase someone, you actually like start to chase yourself, start to learn what it's like to date you. And a lot of my clients are like, what? Like, it's a very foreign concept. Like, you want me to take myself out to coffee? You want me to take myself to dinner? And it's like, yes, you need to put yourself in these situations so that you can, start growing. It's going to feel super vulnerable, and that is the way we grow. And then you'll start to, not just appreciate yourself, you're going to feel very empowered for it. And you're going to start wanting to do it more and more. And then it's going to shift your next relationship, or even your current relationship. You'll start to know how to communicate your needs, which is it's like the next step is, after you start going through these practices, it's how can I communicate what I've experienced and learned with my relationships, my partners, my family, my friends, because you'll start to become aware. And Arena and Bruno, you might know this, but the more in tuned we are, the more likely we are to be like, there's a lot of loud noise, a lot of white noise happening, so I'm going to cut this off and let that go so I can create more space to welcome in what's actually more aligned with my purpose.
I love this. And, like as you are talking about it, Victoria, what comes to me, it's all about just, like be comfortable in your own company, right? And once, do not have any attachments and do not depend on anybody. Basically become your own sun, right? So you can shine no matter where the rain is, right? It just like just be your best, right? And this is a very attractive trait. And not only you're gonna attract the opposite sex into your space, you're also gonna attract your sex to your space, meaning that the feminine, the masculine, everybody wants to be close to you because you're just glowing, right? You're just, having that energy that you are exuding, and that energy is so attractive that everybody is just like coming to that light.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You're a star on your own, and people are
Absolutely.
drawn to you. Not even like like a lot of people who are like, there's the ones who want to bite into your energy, and the ones who are like, I'm attracted. I am like,
Just
I'm
flow
curious.
with your energy, right? Just flow with. Yes, totally, totally. Bruno, what does it come for you?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly it. Like you're both hitting the spot there. Um, it's like the more you let go of it, the more magnetic you become, right?
Mhm.
And so Victoria was saying, like, like, take yourself out, go for coffee and stuff. I still remember when I started doing it. Would some people would go by me, and sometimes I'd see a look and stuff, and I'd be like, these people think I'm out of my mind. Like, these people think I'm out of my goddamn mind. Like, me being by myself, like in a coffee, having coffee by myself. Like, like, where do you see that? There is a certain statement to it, and the statement is, I mean, with all the respect, fuck you all. I love myself a lot, and I will take myself out no matter what, because that's just how it is. And if I don't love myself, nobody will, right? And so I find it I find it rewarding a lot, especially because, like, I come from a background of narcissistic behavior that I had sometimes in my family. I come from a background of like, people blaming me and making me feel guilty for something that wasn't even my fault. And when that happens, is like because I used to be a person who would, like, I would always, like, how do I say it, apologize for nothing. Something. Oh yeah, sorry. Oh yeah, sorry. What are you apologizing for? I don't know. it's like it's there. It's obvious it's there, but at the same time, it's like you don't know why. Once you get to know why, then you can change. It's like, you think it's a normal behavior to have, but it's not, right? And at the same time, it's at the same. Oh, look at Toby.
Toby, so happy to see you with us.
And at the same time, it's one of those things where, like, you have to always be there for yourself, and it's like nobody's gonna push you. You definitely can talk about this topic. Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
for sure. For
I
sure.
think we all remember that little cartoon, yeah. But it's one of those things where, like, there's many forms of pleasure, right? You got spiritual pleasure, you have physical pleasure, you have emotional pleasure. Like, there's so many things, right? And so there's so many things. And I honestly, I just feel like there's so much out there to know. Like we are a walking atomic bomb, right? We have so many cells inside of us. Yes, bring the boom or hold it back, whichever you choose.
Oh, this is hysterical.
That's it, though. We don't hold back. Keep it coming. But it's like, I feel like, yeah, we're literally a walking atomic bomb because of the amount of energy and cells that we have on us. It's like, if we explode, we're literally going to, like, it's going to be a big boom. Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, I don't know, like if you know who Billy Carson is.
What is the name?
I do. Billy Carson. I don't know. I know Toby knows for sure. Toby must know this. Um, but and he says like it's like we carry the knowledge of thousands of years in our DNA. We have the answers for everything we want. Right? Kaboom,
I like
really.
Toby's energy. I agree
Yes.
with you, Bruno, and I'm sure you've seen it before. Like with all this like energy we have within us, to hold it back, to withhold ourselves from pleasure, it creates a repression, and that's where we see more diseases and more physical, dis-ease of the mind and body. And then when you experience your own form of pleasure through, like whether it's through self or through some engagement, it's that release. It's like you're sending out this vibration. You're opening up your heart. You're opening up your mind and body, and it's powerful. So I love that you mentioned like the atomic bomb. That's very like potent.
Yeah.
Victoria,
So-
can you just share like your experience? How did you like really come to that, and how it changed your life?
Oh yeah, I love this story. So, a couple years ago, I was really trying to get my own health and mental health and physical health back on track. Like I had everything, like, and I was like, what's wrong with me? Like, why can't I sleep? Why can't I? It really did start with, why can't I like enjoy myself like with my partner at the time? And why can't I, have, children? And I started looking into women's sexual health, and then women's pleasure came up, and I was like, well, that's interesting. Why haven't I heard about this? And why haven't I considered this before? I was always going and looking to my partner for it. And so I started really like going down that journey of like learning to appreciate myself more, doing the small dates and dating myself. And I started recognizing all these old patterns, beliefs, and basically I learned to realize that I was basically mirroring what I grew up with, which, in a sense, from afar, like perspective, looks like a healthy upbringing with my parents. However, it was more so like I was only doing what I knew. And once I got a piece of like what it was like to experience pleasure, which was basically I planned I ordered myself some beautiful crystals, like yoni crystals, through Australia, actually, Bruno. There's a beautiful company called Yoni Pleasure, and they're harnessed very well and they're clean. So like you have this beautiful toy with you, and it's go Toby.
Oh, go Toby, yeah.
Break them curses, yes. So through scheduling that, like I lit candles, I played music all by myself. And it was one of the most vulnerable experiences, because then through using this, this yoni wand, I was able to really connect with my body. And, as Bruno was saying, like so much energy just shuddered through my body. And I was like, is this what an orgasm is? Because if it is, where has this been my whole life? And of course, through that practice, a lot of things started coming to the surface, and I started recognizing that I wasn't with the right person, that there wasn't nothing wrong with me to begin with. It was just kind of going through the notions of what I thought was normal. And so from that night that I experienced my own self-pleasure, I just keep the consistency, and it has literally brought me, of course that relationship came to an end, and from that divorce sprouted this business. I've traveled. I've had some of the most luscious relationships and experiences I've ever owned the wand. Yes. I'll see if I can I send that to you, Irina? The link? I can probably have to find it. But yeah, that was my initial experience, was just literally creating something, for me at the time I was a hopeless romantic, and I was like, this is all I painted and put together something I've wanted, and now I'm a hopeful romantic and a self-lover instead of a people pleaser.
I love that share. It's all about our awareness and our desire, right? To discover ourselves. And you know what comes to me? What comes to me is like, I'm so proud of me and Bruno for actually creating this show, because not so many people touch these topics. A lot of people feel a lot of shame, a lot of guilt around it. They are afraid to be judged. And like, there is no better freedom than expressing yourselves, because let's face it, there are a lot of people who do not know, right? And they don't have anybody to turn to for the education and for somebody to speak about these topics, right? So they feel like, something is wrong with them. And we just want to say that nothing is wrong with you. It's normal. The more you go on the path of exploring your body, yourself, the more you become aware who you are, the more you can actually feel your body, and the more you are in tune with yourself, the more things shift for you on this physical plane, right? Where it comes, like, be more confident, be more creative, be more expressive, and all other great benefits, including the mental and health issues, right?
Absolutely. I think the best relationship you can have starts with yourself first, and integrating those practices are going to I think my headphones just died.
Yeah. So Bruno, what do you say about it?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like, for example, actually, Toby just said something that took the words out of my mouth. Gotta master all your energies, especially your creative energy. Yes, absolutely. And I agree. And as much as I'm a person who I like my pleasure a lot, I like my self-pleasure a lot. There's also you have to listen to your body. You have to listen to your body. If there's something inside of you that tells you that you shouldn't do something, is you shouldn't do it, period. Don't do it, because your body is not here to hurt you. Your body is here to guide you. Your body is perfectly made to support the densities and the gravity that the planet has, so your soul can move freely and learn what you have to learn, period. Right? Well, that's certain beliefs, right? But at the same time, it is very interesting stuff, because let's face it, I mean, we learn, we think we know, we grow up, and then we realize we don't know anything, and then we have to relearn, right? And so there's two ways. It's either painful and scary because we don't know what we're doing, or it's exciting because at least
Sorry.
but it's like it's like it is interesting because it's either painful and scary, or it's literally it's exciting because, look, I'm gonna tell you a story. I remember when I was in university 2 years ago. I'm 22 years old, so look, I'm still a baby, kind of, right? Basically, it was in 2020, 2021. I wanted to get out of, I wasn't at that time in my life where I was like, there has to be more to life than this bullshit. This is trash. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do any of this. It's fuck. Very wise for 22 when getting wise.
Mhm.
Yes.
Toby, I
Absolutely.
agree with you.
Yes. But at the same time, it's I was like, there has to be more to life than this. So this is it. This is everything I was taught, everything I was learned. This is it. But why are they rich then? Why are them people rich? why are them people, like, how? Like, there has to be something here that, and you're ready for me against my fucking asshole. Oh my god. But at the same time, it's one of those things where I don't know. It's like, it's, and then I discovered the law of attraction. And when I discovered the law of attraction, I was like, this is it. Love you also. Love you too, Toby.
We love you too.
Love you very much. And then I was like, when I discovered the law of attraction, I was like, this is it. This is my way out. Because with this, I can have anything I want in life. I can become anything. I can do anything. I can be superhuman if I want. I don't give a shit. Right? This is my way out. This is my way out of a normal, boring, lame-ass shit life. Simple. Right? And so, like, and that was it. And that's exactly what I did. And it took me like 2-3 years to, not 2-3 years. I mean, it was like, it took me 4 or 5 to get to that point where I discovered that. And, but, it's like, it's just, yeah, it's like, but then when I finally got it, the confirmation that I so needed to feel relieved, right? Things just came. Like, things just kind of came, and you have to let go of it, like, you have to really let go. And once you let go, it becomes better. And there's a lot of pleasure in that energy, right? There's a lot of pleasure in that energy. The only thing is what happens when you can't deal with those energies. Because there were multiple times where I needed a reset. It was too noisy. There was too many people. It was too hot inside of the place that I was. And that's the self-mastery, right? Like Toby was saying, right? Self-mastery came because life sucked, exactly, right? Life had to fuck us, right? So we could learn and we could fuck it back, right? But this time, like our time, right? And so, like, we have to know how to, like, be able to, know how to deal with it, right? Everything is temporary, everything. Life itself is temporary, so.
Victoria, do you have something to add? Oh, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. Hi. I was saying, I also, to add on to what Bruno said, the art of letting go is very powerful when it comes to, your own pleasure practice, because through pleasure, we're associated with orgasm, and a lot of people will get to that like threshold where it's exciting and they'll stop right there. And I'm like, no, that's the part where you have to literally like allow yourself to like move through that, to push through that threshold. And that's where you can like really start manifesting the things that you want in that moment. You can use self-pleasure to manifest like how you want your business to grow, the relationship, like if you're fantasizing something. And by allowing yourself to drop fully into your body is a beautiful, yes, Toby said it perfectly. Like adding the breath and just letting yourself just feel the pleasure, feel good, let yourself just go a little bit further. And that comes with, again, it comes with practice. Like sometimes it's like people want to chase, like, I just, like, why didn't I finish or have an orgasm or come? And it's like, that's a bonus. It's the initiation. It's the foreplay with yourself. It's the build. Like, do a little, pull back, do a little, pull back. There's a really great book for any listeners who are interested in the concept for male pleasure. It's the multi-orgasmic man, and there's so many beautiful practices that you can create on your own or with a partner, and it's amazing to see like how much pleasure you can build by learning to pause and then eventually just letting yourself go. Let go of the idea that that it's supposed to look this way or feel a certain way, and move closer to what feels best for you. Like getting away from the fact that it doesn't look like the movies. It's not going to be like maybe your friends are experiencing some form of, ecstatic pleasure, or their body's capable of doing things like, for women, it's like the squirting concept. And it's just, it's like, that's not for everyone. And yet there's so many possibilities for your body to experience something down to a cellular level.
I love what you shared. And it's true. Again, it comes down to the point that we have to work on ourselves, right? Everything in this world requires the work, right? Not only necessarily just going to the job and making the living, but everything is work. Relationships are work, working on ourselves is work. Becoming the best version of ourselves is work. Performing in the bed is work, So it's all about just require the skills, and also to be open with us, right? And just understand that that's a part of our growth. And like Toby said, we had to go through the pain in order to experience the pleasure, right? So once we realize that we are actually co-creating with the universe, and we can shift our energy and our life and propel in any area that we desire, and all it requires is just to direct that energy to something that we want to accomplish, and be more focused on that, and concentrate, and just be disciplined and commit ourselves, so everything is possible. And it's all about just how people are open to these experiences, and how willing they are to do something about it, right? Because everybody could just sit down and say, oh, you know what, it's not for me, or I don't have time for that, right? But the idea is, ask yourself first, do you really want something different? Do you really want to connect with yourself on a deeper level? Do you really want to understand what you're all about, know your body, know your feelings, just be more in tune with yourself? So this way, when you're with the partner, you also can share and explain to them, because it's not their job to know what you're all about, but it's your job to guide them.
That part, that is such a big part, Irina. Like, that was actually, like, personally, that was a lesson for me when I recognized that it's actually kind of unfair and a lot of pressure to put on your person, your partner, lover. Like, well, they didn't do their job. It's like, well, you need to communicate with them on what feels good, and at the same time, what is that like for you? What does that look like for you in terms of your own practice, and like reciprocating that back as well. So 100%, it is not their job. It is like a bonus. It's a bonus when you can co-create together, but you need to learn to lead yourself there first.
Totally. And I love what Toby says. Too many useless thoughts instead of embarking on an orgasmic adventure. For sure. For sure. It's all about just stay open and just continue discovering yourself, right? On all the levels, including our sexuality, and including just, sexuality, sensuality, and what we are all about. So anything else that you want to share, Victoria, as I know you're teaching your clients on that, maybe a short, like win story that you recently had with the client, so people understand how it really works.
Bless us with your heart. Thank you, Toby. Almost there, almost there. It's a work in progress. um, for a win, oh my gosh, I think I will share one that came to mind because a lot of self pleasure opens up and creates more confidence.
Mhm.
And I would say, majority of my clients are recently single or experienced divorce, and they're looking, which is normal. Like they really want to go. Like I want to find the next person. It's like we're going to spend some time nurturing this part of yourself. And one of my clients, as we're going through the pleasure principles in my programming, and she scheduled her date night, her very first date night. It was very hard for her. And yet, like the process she took herself through, like getting ready, making the reservations, and then initiating herself through her own pleasure practice and being more disciplined about that schedule, like actually going and, self-pleasuring like at the end of the workday, or like looking at her calendar and seeing it, she became more excited and looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks later, right before we met for our third meeting, our third session, she had put herself back out there on, the dating apps, and she went on these dates where she was able to drop more into her feminine and be led by the person, like the men that she wanted to be led by, but she never had before. And she's like, I'm already experiencing the confidence that was missing in my previous relationship. Make sure they can't pronounce this word.
Oh my goodness, Toby is funny. Yeah, and it's a beautiful story. So yeah, it just brings up the best in person, and also the person just become more confident, right? And they know that they can face any kind of situation, and they are prepared for it.
It's really exciting to see the moment they recognize how truly valuable they are, and when they
Mhm.
see that for themselves. That's like, it's a huge win for them to get that message, or whether it's in the session or even after we do offline messaging, and to hear them say like, I've never felt this way before. Like I'm smiling ear to ear. I'm actually looking forward to this. And it's beautiful. And I want that for everyone. I want people to experience the way I feel, like imagine what it'd be like to walk through life through a filtered lens. You can do that. You can have that.
Mhm. You know what? It's amazing when we come to the point that we are the ones to make ourselves happy, right? We do not have to wait for somebody else to show up in our life and to give us that feeling, right? So it's all about just to be in tune with yourself, and to know that we are powerful as we are. And that's why we are talking about empowerment through self-pleasure. Know yourself better, experience everything what you want to experience, and just continue growing with that, right? Continue evolving, continue to be your best person, the person that you're truly in love with, right? Because when we are in love with ourselves, the people around us are gonna love us too. Toby says, if you aren't happy, you won't find happiness outside of you. Absolutely. Yeah, so true. So, do you want to add something, Bruno, before we wrapping up?
Well, I mean, it's like Toby said as well. Like, if you aren't happy with what you are and who you are, you won't find happiness outside of you, and that's absolutely correct. Because it's like I feel like a lot of people. Well, this might not be. I don't know. For me, it's not. For me, the purpose of life is not happiness. For me, the purpose of life is to be fulfilled. Because the problem with happiness is happiness, it comes and goes. Fulfillment comes and stays, right? And fulfillment comes when you're grateful for it. You are grateful for happiness as well, but at the end of the day, So that'd be well. Stay magical. Also.
Thank you, Toby.
Bobby, we love you too. Thank you. Stay magical as well. And thanks for laugh that you brought today to this episode and your energy, beautiful energy.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I feel like happiness comes and goes, and fulfillment comes and stays, right? And so, when we put it into this perspective, we end up understanding that happiness is not the goal of life, because you're always going to be chasing it.
Yes.
You're gonna buy clothes you don't need. You're gonna eat food you're not hungry to eat for. You're gonna you're gonna have meaningless sex that at the end of the day you wish the person would stay and the person is not gonna stay, right? It's like it's all so meaningless, and it just makes somebody else feel like with no purpose, right? So stop fucking around, right? As
That's a strong message.
Toby, right? Stop fucking around, which Toby would love this, right? If Toby was here, she'd laugh. Stop fucking around, and exactly. Look, now we're talking. Absolutely, exactly. So it's like stop fucking around and just whatever it's important for you, you know what you should do. You know what you have to do. You're just procrastinating. It's like, you ain't dumb. You ain't dumb, right? You ain't stupid. You're actually quite smart. So you know what to do. You know how to do it. So go out and do it, right? Get that pleasure.
Awesome. Victoria, would you like to say something to wrap us up?
Oh my gosh, so many gold nuggets today. I think the biggest thing, and if you could walk away from anything, it's you can find your purpose through pleasure.
I love it.
Life you are living in your purpose. Just think of those two people.
Love it. Awesome episode, Victoria. Thanks so much for coming. Come back anytime as the guest. It was a pleasure, and we want to hear. Thanks so much, Toby, for joining, and we want to hear other opinions. So don't be shy. Participate. It's all about just exchanging of the energies, and I know that this episode was the eye opener for a lot of people. So we continue bringing this unique content, so you could discover what is out there and who you want to be, and how to connect to yourself in the best way. Thank you so much, and see you on the next week on another episode. Bye.
Thank you.